Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of An Interview With. That's right, we're back, and this week we've got another special group of boys coming on the show, and it is the Fenland Soham representative, Savage Street Records label. Here are the boys. Boys, thank you so much for coming on. Why don't we introduce ourselves to start off for this evening? Go ahead, Dan.
No, I'm Dan, or like Nanya D, any one of the three. That rhymed. But yeah, just do photography stuff for the boys. That's about it, really.
Yes, I'm Fen Stepper, aka Peppers. I produce for them, I DJ for them, and part-time rapper-ish.
Hell yeah.
Then I'm AJ, rapper. Then kind of do a lot of the video stuff and kind of all the design stuff and all that sort of stuff.
I'm Greedy G.
Greedy G, oh boy.
Yeah, I make and I order these lot about. But yeah, it's tight.
I'm Nate Grimy, aka Esco Barbarian, full-time dad, full-time rapper. You know the drill.
Oh, rate that. I didn't know you had a kid, Nate.
I got two, man.
Two kids.
Yeah,
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Oh, mental. Fair play,
Yeah,
mate.
I'm getting on.
Yeah.
I'm halfway to 50, man. That's good.
Yeah. You guys got to make this shit happen. Like, he's running out of time over here. All right. So, talking more now about you guys and the group itself. How did you guys actually meet? And what is it that you guys have done so far together?
So we're going back a few years now.
How we met? Well,
Okay, I met you first.
Yeah, you met me first.
And then I met him.
Mhm.
And then I met him.
I think I met
then I
you
met him.
before.
So where did you guys meet?
No, you met.
Well, me and Seb, we met at the fountain, our local
No,
pub,
I've met you before.
and we went out for a and then
No, we were at
realised-
the comrades.
No, we were at the fountain. It was
No, it was comrades. It was back at
no,
comrades.
it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was the fountain because we went to the rec car park and smoked a stand.
No, that was Christmas. You met me before that. We met
Oh.
plenty of times before that.
Really?
Yeah, we knew each other
Really?
ages before that.
So they met at the pub.
It was definitely at the Boozer. Okay. And then who met who after that?
Then I think it would be me. Well, actually, I met Dan before I met Seb.
Guess where we met? At the
Uh,
Boozer. I went from so.
To be fair, I worked there at the time. Does that give me
What,
any
and-
credibility that I'm not just an alcoholic? Probably not.
Cheers.
Well, it depends if you admit it, you know.
And then Seb, I think I had met him in the pub before, but I don't
I've
really
seen him plenty of
remember.
times in the pub, yeah, because he was like my local.
It's all right. I won't speak in Seb.
Yeah, go on.
So I've met him in the pub several times before, but then he threw a rave at the pub I worked at, and obviously none of the other bartenders wanted to work it, so I volunteered. And then we got speaking there, and that's when I fully got to know him. And then he dragged me to the studio, probably what, a month later, 2 months later.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, and then who was it after that? So how did you then progress into everyone else meeting?
So I met Nathan somewhere around the same little bit. I think before meeting him, around the time meeting him, I met him. But I think I've probably known him longer because he's from Soham as well, and he knows loads of people from Soham I know. But he's kind of been in and out. But
Right.
he's been in the area.
Okay, so you've mentioned Soham. Let's talk about that. So growing up, big up the Fenlands. Wait, I love the Fens, by the way.
big up,
Can I just say, as a
Yeah.
what is that? You can't see me, but I'm doing the thing. What is that?
That's A.
A what?
EA
East
Sports.
Anglia. East Anglia.
Oh, okay. Oh, we don't.
East Anglia.
It's in the crops. There is someone in the crops.
I like it. Right, there was obviously, and we are going to talk about music, so don't worry, I'm getting to it. But there was obviously the murders that happened there, right? Now, I wanted to know, yeah, I know. You guys probably hear about this a lot, but growing up, this is going to be interesting for people to hear about because like this shit is actually on Netflix. Like it was a really big deal at the time, and it's not really something that I think people get to hear about too often. So,
Not from the local perspective, anyway.
yeah. So I think how did it change the environment growing up? If you were growing up in that environment, what was it like, you know, to grow up in that with, and like, what were your parents like? Like, how did it change that?
That's a good question.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't think it's changed a lot. I can't lie to you.
But
Like, maybe it has, but it happened in what, like 2001,
2002.
2002. There we go.
Yeah.
So I was born in 2001. You would have been born in 2003.
Yeah, he was in
2003.
court by the time I was born.
Exactly. So like by the time we were all actually like old enough to know what's going on and stuff, like it didn't really, it wouldn't have really affected us too much.
But so there was no like. Sorry, go on. Don't let me cut you off.
Oh, I was just saying it probably affected our parents more. Like I feel like in general nowadays you don't let your kids go out too young, and this, that, and the other, and like stuff was a lot more lenient back in the day, and I don't think that has a whole lot to do with the Soho murders. I think it just has more to do with like the fact the world's just getting a bit wet. To be honest.
I think it's more to do with that fucking school, but besides the point, and the police.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Sam, it's like it's always been that cloud that's been there ever since. But Sam has never really changed itself. It is still Sam. The only difference is before it used to be you'd go up to someone and there'd be two things. Well, yeah, there'd be two things they'd say to you if you said you were from Sam, and either be never heard of it or be like you're a fucking rare breed, ain't you? Or they'd want to fight you, and then. Now it's three things. It's that, and then it's the last two. So yeah.
Now, like using that point there and talking more musically based, would you say that is like an inspiration for you guys creating this group entirely?
Hell yeah, and like it's a whole reflection because we've all been raised in this environment. Like I think what it is we're trying to convey that image is that like the countryside operates and rural areas in general, but especially around here, operates on like a whole fucking different thing to like what major cities or even bigger towns like the middle of the country does. And you got to think the area we're from as well is especially like cut off. Like it's notorious for just like for ages, like being hard to get to because it was all flooded, so no one could get round.
Yeah.
And then after that, just trying to get through it in general, you got these like narrow roads and just like yeah, and the only reason people would come is if it was like trade or like farming and things like that, because it's like the most agriculturally like healthy area ever. But then also at the same time, it's like the most like depressed area in the country. But
is it actually?
To add to that as well, because the Fenlands were a part of Cambridgeshire. We're like kind of a part of Norfolk and a part of Cambridgeshire.
Yeah,
and obviously from, like. We're like half an hour from Cambridge. So whenever we go to like events or we're just like talking to people, meeting people, and they say, where are you from? And you go, the Fens. They go, where the fuck's that? And you go, oh, it's near Cambridge. And they go, oh, you're posh. And we are from posh, right? The Fenlands is filled with filth, mud, everything. We're the furthest from posh. And I don't feel like that was the intention to create this, but it definitely does like help with trying to change the image of like everyone from Cambridge isn't a poncy, stuck up trust fund private school person. Do you know what I mean? Some of us smoke and eat chicken. Do you know what I'm saying?
or rob bikes, but yeah, it's all cool. Like because round it, like even in Cambridge, like kids from Cambridge or just like young people in general, it's not the same as like. There's like things we all identify with, and there's like things we can connect over. But like how it, like our environments are so different. Like in Salem, especially, it's like a strong sort of community. Everyone knows each other. Mm-hmm. Everyone is related to each other in one way or another. Like,
and everyone has a substance issue.
Yeah, right. Everybody. Like I said, it's like it's like the most depressed area in like England. Like East Anglia is like where like most antidepressants like handed out like prescription and that. It's fucking and there's I know going back earlier about the flatness of it. I've heard about where it's like people actually go nuts from how flat it is, and then also it's just isolated in general, and it just all that isolation over the years, it runs. It's like a generational trauma sort of thing. It just runs in. There's like this collective lariness. There's like something in the water that's just different. Like there's no laws. It's like it's like a complete detachment there, like everything else. It's like its own little governing sort of ecosystem. It's weird.
I think a big thing that it is though is like around here there's just absolutely nothing to do, and I think that's more what affects it than anything else. Like there's just such a lack of things, especially for young people to do. So I think that's where like the community side of Savage Streets is quite important.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we started this because we wanted to make music. Like
Of course.
there's other aspects to it, but at the end of the day, I think that's the thing that always sees us through.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can see that being the case. I just think it's quite cool that if there is all that sort of like sadness to it, it gives people, like you said, it gives a community like a bright light, and do you know what I mean? Something that does uplift people, and it's like, oh, there's actually going on in this town now. Like people are trying to get stuff going and give it a good name in a way. Do you know what I mean? Give it some recognition for other than all the stuff that it's had, and I think that's a really positive thing.
And the thing about it is just to like sort of just give that description of what it is really like, because a lot of people's perceptions of rural areas is quite skew-whiff anyway. So it's not like, you know, everyone pictures it as just quiet, nothing happens like the Cotswolds. But it's like, no, there's like some weird underbellies to what goes on around here. Like it isn't like, it's like very much on the surface it seems all quite quaint and humble.
But it's a bit
like if you had someone just spend like a year just being amongst the locals, talking to them, you get a whole other perspective. You know, there's there's just something to it, and then because we've just all been around it, we all it goes into it, but we have other influences as well. It's just it's mad.
No, that is I think to be honest, I'd quite like to know more about that. Like now that you've mentioned that, I mean, that's hit me. Like I didn't really know that at all. I kind of do just view it as like this place where ground is really flat.
Let us take you to the pub in Soham, and you'll come with a totally different perspective.
What do you mean?
Has it?
Yeah, man.
Man, what are you talking about? What have you done?
Yeah, you've come to the pubs in Soham. You've been to my house parties. Yeah,
I've been.
Soham, yeah.
Oh yeah, your dad. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah, no, but I don't think I'll. No, I don't.
Was the one where there was the fight?
Yeah, we fucking. What is it?
Yeah, you was. Remember,
yeah, no. I remember that. I remember the brawl.
The fight at the pub. Yeah, I'm not at my party.
But I never went. I still never. I don't think I've ever been to a pub there, unless my memory's failing me.
I'm pretty sure you have. But maybe
we'll show you the pubs.
My memory's faded.
That night, you got a fucking good taste of Soham seeing that. I just said all this depressing shit. There is like, because there's that community, there is something absolutely hilarious about being in the pub with everyone.
Yeah,
it's great.
I should probably
explain
that.
Go on, elaborate. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, just had a fat old Halloween party at my house.
Yeah.
And like, there was bare people, and this guy that lived like round the corner, name's Izzy, doesn't really matter too much. He just like came into my back garden with his dog. Like I don't know why, he just saw there was a party going on.
Yeah.
And then ended up trying to get him out. He was being a little bit funny, he didn't want to really leave. So
and also he was massively outnumbered, can I just say?
Exactly.
Like, massively. I don't know what his plan was, but
I don't really know, but yeah, we couldn't really get him to leave. And then as things go, you know, when you live in a small sort of town, whispers happen.
And your dad's well known, isn't it? As well, Dan.
Exactly. And then about fucking 6 people came down, like my god brother and all the rest, pulled him out, had a little scrap with him, sent him on his way, and then about 10 minutes later, a car full of people turned up, all hops out, going, "Where is he? Where is he? We're ready." And we're like, "Boys, it's already finished."
Right, he stumbled down the road.
Yeah, and one of them was his cousin as well. He hopped out. I was going to sort him right out. See what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think I do need to come there for at least a pint or maybe 6 to really immerse myself.
Yeah, we've only told you off.
I'm still new to some stuff as well. I've only been coming here for like nearly 5 months now or something.
Yeah. He's on the more genteel side of the fence, the actual quiet part.
You're
in
deep,
East Cambridgeshire.
Deep within.
I think another good thing to mention about that story is we didn't call anyone either.
People
just heard people heard someone had come into Dan's gaff, and they were like, "Yeah, we need to go sort him out. Like, he's not allowed in there."
And then it was funny. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of them, or some of them, just then they chilled and they were like, "Welcome to the party after."
Yeah, exactly. They just came to the party. And they were like, it was like Rico and all that lot. And they were like, "Yeah, we'll come to a party."
Oh yeah, shout out Rico.
Yeah, big up Rico.
Big up,
Rico.
big up. So okay, what is for you guys? And you can use the Soham inspiration, use other use other influence like as well within this question. What for you guys is like your creative process, lyrically as well as like producing wise?
Seb, I reckon you should start this one.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you think otherwise you're going to be talking? For
No.
10
I've
minutes?
got it. 'Cause I know what I've got to say. So like when it comes to like producing beats, it literally can take anything I could hear. All I got to hear is just like a song, and that can be generated from just me randomly listening, or just having a certain feeling about stuff. And it's the same with writing lyrics as well. I could either have a beat already, no beat, and I'll start writing, or I have a beat and I'll start writing. But it'll just take anything that's around me, an event that happened in my life, just pondering about usually in the day, or like Ethan's playing any of these man could be playing a song, and I'll be like, oh, and ideas trigger, and then after that I'll just sit and beat the fuck out of them until I'm like, oh yes, this is what I need. This is my magnum opus, and then it gets released at some point.
Okay. Yeah, and for anybody else as well, feel free.
Yeah, I can take that one. So I think like mine's kind of similar to Seb's, but I think the big difference between me and Seb, how we approach it, is Seb tends to have the idea first and then do the thing, whereas I tend to do the thing and the idea forms like halfway through doing it.
When you say do the thing, do you mean make a beat or?
No, I more meant writing. But
Okay,
also
okay.
when I have messed about with production, or even when I'm like designing or video editing or something like that, I don't really go into it knowing what it's going to come out like at the end. It's kind of just like letting it all come out and see what it is by the end of it.
Okay. Yeah. No, that sounds really good. Yeah, and anybody else?
Yeah, what about you, Narco? You want to say?
Man, like Narco.
I'm fine, brother. No, I'm fine. I'm good.
Yeah. How do you? What's your creative process?
No, I don't know.
Are you more of a writer, or do you prefer like making the beats? Like what's sort of the thing that really gets you going?
I ain't got a clue how to make a beat.
Okay.
That makes no sense to me. Like, but yeah, I just write, man.
Is there any sort of like general inspiration, like literally anything? Like I don't know, you could be walking your dog one day and you see a really cool leaf or some shit and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna, I don't know, like, do you know what I mean? Just like literally anything that sparks it.
Put it on a t-shirt.
I don't know. Normally I just get and just write. That's my motivation to write, and then like that's when the ideas just come ready.
To be honest, I do feel that like I don't spit, like I write sometimes when I'm just because I think it's fun. I like spitting to the boys and that.
I just feel like my bars are better when I'm than
I literally I can't write if I'm not that I can write very well anyway. But I can't write if I'm like trying to. It will just be I'm smoking a joint, I'm sat there, and then something will happen. I'll be like, oh shit, and then I'll spend about 20 minutes writing an 8-bar.
Yeah,
and that's it. But I always just do exactly the same thing you do. You just get lean, and then the thoughts start flowing, and the juices start flowing and stuff. You know.
Yes.
About yourself.
Yeah. So speaking as a producer first, so I like to focus on the drums first because I'm a massive boom bap head, and I love my boom bappy drums.
You mean old head?
Old head.
Just like this guy.
And yeah, so like when I hear most hip hop tunes and stuff, it's the drums that come to my mind first, and what's what I listen out for first. So when I'm making a beat, I like to make some nice dusty drums and stuff that I would want to hear like through a PA system, you know what I mean, and stuff. Just like crunchy rawness, but I can't really say much as from a rapper's perspective just yet because I've only been writing and spitting properly since January.
Wow. Okay,
yeah.
No, that's impressive because I saw you at the event and when you were spitting, it was it's impressive stuff, man. I'm sure. Were you freestyling some of it as well?
No, it was all literally from what I've written. So I've written a little bit, but then when I joined Savage Streets, that's when they started pushing me to write more and that kind of thing, and then jump on some tracks with them. So, but it's weird. The writing process for me is weird. I still haven't got quite got the hang of it yet, but I'd want to say I'm just more of a rapper than I am a songwriter because when I rap, I just like I kind of focus more on wordplay than topics.
Yeah.
And stuff like just have a bit of fun with it, just not make it too deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of the time I do the same as well, but then I think meeting this man has made me kind of go to the other side as well, where sometimes I will have that like idea and concept for a song before I start writing it, and I'm more focused on the overall kind of story of it. But most of the time, I'm more like Peppers, where I'm just like, let me write some sick bars that people are gonna be like, oh, that was hard.
Yeah.
I think it's a tough one maybe when you're writing, because you wanna. I think like when you're writing a song, you want it to do well live. I don't know if you guys think of that. Like that's like a big thing. So like the bars that you're coming up with, they've got to like make the audience go nuts as well. But then also if you're writing, if you have a topic in mind, then it's so much easier to write. I feel like it flows a lot easier. Like again, I'm like same as Dan really. I'm not a rapper, but I've written in the past, and yeah, when you've got a topic there, it's a lot easier. I think you come up with stuff a lot quicker. Whereas you can be there for ages if you're trying to do wordplay and that. But it
gives you like a focus point that you can kind of look towards and give you some reference for ideas. Because when you can write anything for the next bar, it's a bit overwhelming because there's so much choice.
Yeah, exactly. And then maybe Nate, that's where smoking a and getting your mind all chilled out, and then maybe that's where that helps. For some anyway. So. In terms of success, right? How would you define success yourselves? Is it sort of a commercial thing where the money's there, or is it something that's like recognition, like fame, or is it something else to you guys? Like, how would you define it? Because I feel like it's quite a personal thing, success actually.
I can't speak for the group and what their aim is or something, but it's just that loads of people have asked me this question before, and yeah, if I make a lot of money from it, cool, that's nice. But I feel like my achievement from what I've always wanted to do is how often I can do it. You know what I mean? Like how often I can perform, how often I can produce, how often I can DJ without going to work. You know what I mean? So, and just having people come back to like me and us as well and say, I like what you did. That was cool. I'm going to listen to that. I feel like that's an achievement more for me. And stuff. But again, I can't really speak for the boys. That's how I always saw like the music when I first started and how I got into it.
Yeah, pretty much the same here. I think like my overall goal is just that we can focus on this stuff and not have to maintain like a 9 to 5 and think about all this other sort of stuff. Like we can just focus on this because that's what we enjoy doing the most.
Yeah.
So there is like a financial aspect to it for me, but it's not because I want to make a shit ton of money. It's just because it'd be nice if none of us had to work.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was gonna say as well. Like, I know I've been chatting a lot, so I thought I'd let you two take the reins on that one.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's like I feel like success is so different for everyone, and there's no one thing that equates to success. Like you can be. I also think it's the same with like being wealthy. Like being wealthy doesn't mean you have to have loads of money. You can be emotionally wealthy. Do you know what I mean? You can be like. You can have lived a rich life, and that equals wealth too. So it's like with success, I feel like these boys said it the best. Like as long as you're living life and you're happy doing what you're doing, I think that is successful.
Yeah.
Whether or not you still have a job to bring in the money and to pay the bills, as long as you feel happy and you're doing something worthwhile in your life, I feel like that is success. Because so many people like go through their life thinking, I wish I did this, I wish I did that, or wanting to do things, but never know how to get there or never know how to do whatever. So the fact that we're already at like whatever age we are, like
Doing
really
it, trying.
Yeah, exactly. Like putting our foot on the pedal and taking that we want and doing the shit we want to do. I feel like that already is a success. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we are already successful.
100%. I think that's such a great answer actually. Do you find that people get, or do you think that people get too caught up in the money and the fame, and that is what they need to be successful, and then they sort of never really find the happiness?
I think they love that audience reaction, a lot of them, but they don't really realize who's reacting and for what reasons. I think a lot of the time, like if you have 10 people being like, oh, that's a hard verse, you'll never really get pushed to change. There's some people that will never grow past that. So a lot of people just stagnate being okay rather than becoming good or great or amazing. They're stuck at like just doing what everyone else is doing.
You get those people as well that are having meltdowns as well because they're an artist and they want to be an upcoming artist, and they start crying at the fact Spotify's not giving them a high rate, which I understand. Spotify are pretty I forgot what the word I was going to use, but you know, they're pretty tight, you know, when it comes to like handing out money and giving out
Right.
rights to the artists. But at the same time, those artists that are getting those like over 1,000 streams and stuff and actually getting a fan base, they're not looking at that. They're just ignoring that whole thing and just being like, oh, Spotify's not giving me what I deserve. That kind of thing. And that pisses me off, not gonna lie.
Yeah, no. I get that. They're sort of not. I mean, I think like even if you've gotten to that point, then it's commendable. Why do you need the recognition from Spotify or whatever from anyone else? Like, you know, if you're getting your stuff out there regardless, that's still good.
Yeah, man. Of course. 100%.
So for you guys, what is the best song that you've released so far and why?
That's an easy
If I
one.
don't have a split,
Yeah,
then it will be a myth.
Yeah.
Let me talk my
Yeah.
shit
Hang on,
and have a talk.
Hang on, pipe down. He wasn't on that tune, and he wasn't here when that was made.
But it's
Yeah,
still,
but it's still
it's a great tune.
It can still be objectively the best song.
This guy's just been a for the sake of it.
Also, yeah, every time we've performed that song, he's performed on it.
There you go.
Also,
Such a
I'm going to
single
say
mother.
it's not released yet, but Mask and Mittens, best song, hands down, no
Ooh,
cap.
can we get a
I've heard it
preview?
up,
Is
no
that
cap.
too cheeky to
You haven't
ask?
heard it yet, but you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it.
Do you guys want to spit it a little bit? Is that a little bit cheeky to ask? A little bit?
I can't spit at the
No.
moment. I'm still recovering from my weekend.
Also, you ain't getting no freebies. When you get to that freebie, then
That's
spit
what I'm
nothing.
getting at,
You
man.
got preview the one coming out anyway.
I did.
No, like, can hand that feed you.
I respect the hustle. I respect the hustle.
Yeah, man. Can't have your cake and eat it too. Okay, so
For now, we can all agree smoking Jobies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
and live as well is like it was. You know, I was there. It went off. It did go off. Okay, what techniques do you guys use to engage your audience? Be loud. I feel like is the big one.
Do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
live shows or social media.
Yeah, both. I suppose.
social media, I think trying to like just be relatable, if that makes sense. Like, because we are obviously we're still quite a small collective at the moment. We're gaining traction. We're getting bigger and stuff. But like we are the listeners. Do you know what I mean? We are the public. Like we are nothing. Do you know what I mean? So I think being relatable and full, like kind of playing into that like whole Fender and Common Boys type beat is, I feel like that's quite good to engage with people.
Like in a way.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
No,
sorry.
go.
No, I was just trying to say, like in a way, we're putting out what we'd also want to see from people, that kind of thing.
Exactly. You basically you said what I said in that words. Yeah. But in terms of like live shows and stuff, like you take that. I don't know about none of that.
So real quick on the social media, I'd say a big part of it is the relatability, but it's also like the roughness of it and the rawness of it, not putting too much on top of it, because it's like easy to try to be relatable and it doesn't come across well. So I think that's when like some of our best content or best moments have just been stuff that's happened that someone happened to have a camera for. And I think they're always the ones that kind of do best. And then with live shows, I think it's just a lot of energy and be loud. I think that's kind of the main two things we go for.
I'd say for social media, I feel like when it comes to being relatable, I feel like because we're already like ourselves, like, you know, we just act ourselves out like how we do now. Like all we do is just really just kind of piss about and have a bit of a laugh. But then also like we just with the Fenland thing, I don't want it to feel like a novelty or like it's forced. It's literally like we are literally just doing that shit because it is us. We've been around that our whole lives. And if there's anything that's been more patriotic, I don't speak for these lot. If I've had any patriotism shoved down my throat, it was only because I was from around here. That's the only kind of patriotism I even hear about around here. It's just people being proud they're just from around here because it's just how, like I said, how cut off it is. But besides the point, like with the social media, it's just it's just us being ourselves. I think is relatable enough because I think at a base level, everything that most people go through, they can end up relating to it on some level. If you just are yourself, not like some sort of image of what you want.
Yeah.
But then with the live shows, it's just simple. We're just a bunch of energetic little.
Yeah. No, you definitely the right.
Energy, really.
And it's like and because like we also like because we most of us here all go like raving. We've got like I got my fingers deep in that culture anyway. So and then same with Dan, but like we all dabble in it anyway. So it's like a lot of that comes into it as well. Like, especially the energy we bring. It's that same sort of energy that you get when you go party and it's just people going crazy and that. And
So
that's
you know
it.
what to bring from
Yeah,
that.
that's a oh sorry, I mean
No, I was just commenting.
that's a really good thing. I haven't even really thought of before, is because like obviously as you said, we're so like connected to the rave culture and the rave scene, mainly through you because you're obviously the originator. You started this. Do you know what I mean? You started Savage Streets, and you've since I met you, you've been playing raves and you've been in with the Singularity Boys, the Militant Music Boys, all that.
Big
lot.
up.
Shout out.
Exactly, shout out the boys, and I feel like as well because obviously I've been raving for years, and I'm pretty cemented in that too. Not in the same way you are, not in a creative way, but I feel like you know
You're part of it, man.
yeah, do you know what I mean? The same thing. So I feel like when we go to raves, and then you're like someone sees the jumper and they go, oh, what's that? And you're like, oh, this is our group, Savage Streets. You give them the thing. Like if it was just some, I don't know, because it's so relatable to the rave scene and it's still so raw and and all that, like rave heads, they like it too. Do you know what I mean? So it's not there's no segregation between the two.
Because I think I brought this up in the last interview, but there's so much crossover of all the music genres in this country that go, because rave is like such a big part of like I'd want to say like maybe the UK's culture. It's
100%.
Something we've had nailed,
Definitely.
And just like a sort of like culture of just people going out and listening to like underground music. Because now with like the internet, when I go raves now, there's like the people who are going to these raves around like all our ages, they're like there's a lot of people I know who are like listening to like from like the 60s and like the 70s now. Like they're getting all back into that. There's a lot of people who just love hip hop and rap like across the board. So, you know, if they're already going there and you're next to these people and you're, you know, giving it your order a bit of jungle and then like afterwards you're like, oh, I'd listen to so and so. Like it always happens. And that's why they dig that.
Exactly. That literally reminds me of when we went to that coalition party. So we did Safe as well, you did Safe as did a Fenland bass set for man like Theo West for
Briz.
in Briz for the thing, and I knew about a free party that was happening the next day. So there was a photographer, G Wallace, I think her name is. Plug G Wallace.
Yeah.
She was the photographer for Theo, and then I came along with the boys, and I did photography too. But linked up with her, got her Instagram, said send us through the photos, which I don't think she ever has. So G Wallace, send us them fucking photos. Send us the photos. But anyway, I ended up in the night. I saw her and I thought, is that her? But I wasn't really too sure. And then in the morning, I saw it was her, and I went over and I was like, "Oh, it's us. You were at our thing like last night taking photos." She goes, "What? I didn't think you boys would be at a hard trance party." I think
no
that
way.
sums it up. Do you know what I mean? Like we're a part of everything. We're doing the whole thing, and like
the connections too tight.
Exactly. Because like people wouldn't realize that we're about that too. But once you realize, you can really see the connection.
It starts to make sense.
The dots start connecting.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
no,
and there's a lot of people who, if they know any of my songs, like because I make drum and bass and like my Fenland bass stuff as well. So like, there's people who hear that shit and then find out I also just do the hip hop stuff, and then it all just kind of meets in the middle.
That's so cool. You're getting the best of both worlds from that, aren't you? Completely. That's awesome.
Oh, definitely. Because it's the same energy. It's just pissed off you. So
yeah, exactly. Now, Seb, I've heard you answer this question before, and in fact, I might have asked it last time we did an interview. So I feel like you're going to take the lead on this one, but it goes to everyone. How do you guys handle criticism of your music?
Oh yeah, we did get asked this, didn't we? Because we love it. We love it.
Love it.
Love it.
I love. Because like constructive criticism, I love because that helps me put into perspective what I might be doing.
Yeah, and you can take it or leave it, can't you?
My craft. Yeah, exactly. But if it's just straight up, just like, I don't like it, you're doing something whack, this is not for the culture. You know what I mean? It will be like fucking. That is what I want. I want to hear people just getting so pissed off.
Then you're getting a different spectrum of people getting.
You want to be the enemy. That's what you want.
Yeah, you want people to think you're the Antichrist with your music and you're corrupting the youth. You want that Sunday newspaper saying he's coming to corrupt all your kids with his music. Like that is needed. That is needed.
Any publicity is good possible publicity.
Yeah, if you ain't getting death threats, you're doing a terrible job, man.
Jesus. So
We actually encourage it, really. Like,
We
there's
do
no such
encourage
thing
it.
as like bad criticism unless you're a that just wants to tell them and move on. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, because the biggest enemy in the music industry is the yes man.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yeah,
And
so
if you got people
Hmm.
telling you your shit, then you're obviously doing something right.
That's
But if
what-
you've got the haters, then
That's
yeah.
what I was about to say, because the worst thing you can be is mediocre. Everyone thinking, yeah, it's fine. I wouldn't really listen to it by myself,
I'm
but
like,
yeah.
it's cool.
No,
It's
be
like-
undeniable.
You need
we
to
don't want
do.
people to go, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, you need something that's so severe that it causes like innate reactions in people. Where if they
Polarizing.
are like, "What the fuck is that? I hate it." That's a good sign because that
Yeah.
means someone else is gonna be like, "What the fuck is that? I love it."
Yeah. It's both ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's really smart. It's a really good answer. Is there any advice that you guys would give to people trying to do what you're doing at the minute?
I think it's quite easily just do something different. Don't just sound like everyone else.
And the trouble is like saying that though, it's like people like because there's some people who think they are different, but they're not, and it's really
Yeah,
it's just
but-
you'll know if you know.
Yeah,
If you know what I mean.
That's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's like definitely try and be different, and definitely try and not do the same shit everyone else is doing, but also just be true to yourself. Like
Yeah.
if you
If
if
anything.
you do what you want to do, like actually what you want to do, and you put out the shit that you want to put out, and you stay true to yourself, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be whether it's good or bad is inherently whether or not
Yeah.
you're good or bad. Like, and obviously it's nothing's ever gonna be great at the start, but if you keep pushing and you just keep doing what you're doing and being who you are, you're gonna get somewhere. That's essentially what I'd say.
And what I've learned is like executing your ideas is like the key, because it's
Mm-hmm.
like all ideas could probably just sound at like the first thought, but like if you take time to just sit there and just like correct all the little holes, stitch up a few stitches,
Maybe leave a little holes in there.
you know what I mean?
Leave some holes in
just a
there. You know?
couple. But as long as you execute that motherfucker with like everything you've got, you'll be all right. But the trouble is just trying to get people to realise that. But the people who know, and the people who don't know think they know.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I'd add to that is just experiment. Like, don't get stuck in one lane.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree with that.
like it's so easy for people to like put out a couple of songs. One of their songs does like fairly well, and they're like, right, I'm just gonna make that and nothing else. I'm just gonna make this same song 20 times over.
Do
Do you know what? Oh, no, go on. You go, Finn.
Do you think that anybody can do well within music so long as they sort of just put the time in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look, if you're being real to yourself
everything,
and
isn't
you're just like doing whatever it is you want, not offending anybody, and stay away from yes men, you can make it anywhere.
When you
That's
say
why.
that, elaborate on that, Peppers. Stay away from yes
Stay away
men.
from yes man. Well, it's just because like so going back to me only just starting out and rapping, like it scares the shit out of me. Like going on the
That's
top of the
fair.
stage with a microphone, it scares the shit out of me. I ain't gonna lie, but I always harass these boys, and I'm always saying to them, like, if I come up with a new bar or come up with some 16s and I'm rapping over a track, I'm just like, right, boys, honestly, how did that sound and stuff, and
You want an honest answer.
Yeah, exactly. Like you want honest inputs from people, and not just from these boys. I've got other people as well who I ask as well, but I haven't got that many because I know a lot of my people are yes men, and they'll just tell me, yeah, it's good anyway and stuff. That's not what you want. You're not going to go far if you're going to get people just saying yes to anything and stuff. Like that's why you have all these people like around me, for example, that would just tell me, what's good, what's bad, what could be better.
Yeah, that's a good point. Get mates around you that aren't just going to be
Exactly.
like, oh, yeah, you're so sick. You need mates who will sit there and love you and care for you, but will also tell you that.
So
you
bun
what's
the
good.
yes men.
Bun
Bun
the
the
yes
yes. We don't need them.
There you go.
Bun the yes.
Okay. No, I like that. Excuse me.
Bun the yes men.
I sound like a fucking Reddit poster.
Okay, so yes, continuing, we are back. So you guys, obviously, the way that you write songs, you use a lot of raw and unfiltered lyrics. Big up East Anglia. And so what would you say that your opinion is on other artists that do objectionable lyrics, sort of like the violent type or the...
I don't give a fuck what people talk. Look, my whole thing is like with art, it's like all just music, which is art. It's just let them say what they want.
Yeah.
Just like we can tell when someone's like being a and when someone in most of the time. But I wouldn't be out here being like, oh, ban it. I'll just be like, let it run loose and let's just and see what happens.
Yeah,
Let's see what sets on fire because of this.
Fair enough. So what
No,
what if it's like undebatedly just about something that's like
Oh
really
yeah, if
bad
someone
and it's
fully
not,
just came out and was like,
there's no
saying,
point to
like,
it.
Yeah, yeah. If there's no point to it, I wouldn't be like ban it. I'd just be like, this is just shit, and I just wouldn't give it my time.
Yeah,
It's got to have some substance.
I feel like building on that, I feel like it's with art, like, because obviously, as you said, music is art. Like
Or anything.
anything can be good. So it's like if you're saying all the swear words that you shouldn't be saying, or like violent stuff and stuff about all of the things you shouldn't be saying in a public eye. It's like there's a place for it because it's art. Whereas like if you were just like, I don't know, on a talk show saying about how you stabbed this man and stabbed that man and stabbed this man, like maybe that's not the right place for that. But music is the right place for that. Do you know what I mean? If there's anywhere where you can express yourself, whatever you're trying to express is music and any form of art, really.
Just execute it well, man.
I think that's my thing. Like, if you don't do it properly or you're doing it for the wrong reasons or without a reason, it's just cheap. Like, when you're just doing it for the sake of shock value, I'm like, I get it to a certain extent, especially in terms of like marketing and stuff. But it's just cheap and boring, and you're not really doing anything. And I'm like, just do better. Do all your edgy stuff if you want to, but have something else behind it as well. Have another lane as well.
Yeah. Or even if you're going to do edgy stuff, like probably closer when it comes to me, but I don't know. It's like you got to like be aware of what you're doing. So also kind of make it like a good way to probably approach it, just be self-aware about it and then peel back the layers of why you're doing it. Like explain that in a song, like talk about why the fuck you're doing it. Or maybe, like there's so many ways artists could tackle a subject or reason because just people's minds just work in so different ways. So it's like, it's not impossible. And then, if you're just going for low-hanging fruit, then you just...
Yeah. You heard it here. Yeah. So would you guys say that, or not to my knowledge that you've done anything like it, but anything that's sort of like, there's a topic that gets you kind of frustrated and annoyed, and there's something that you would sort of go at that angle with and create a song like that?
Oh yeah, I'll talk about anything and everything that's bothering me.
Is there a topic specifically?
Yeah, my main topics I like discussing. I like just people interact. I love painting pictures of like interactions I have, how I feel about it, how I think other people feel about it. I just love studying images of what I see. Like I love going into, like, especially locally, I love going into a pub and just seeing some shit go down, and then just being able to just analyze why people do that shit.
Yeah.
Like the mental aspects of it all just fascinates the fuck out of me. So I love like peeling back the layers of like the human psyche.
Yeah. That sounds really interesting. I can't say I've ever done that actually. I don't think my town's interesting enough. It doesn't sound anywhere near as exciting as Soham, I have to say. So is that what you'll do then? Like, and this can go for any of you again. Like, if you'll be out, see something, and then kind of head back to the lab and start.
I've sat in pub and done it.
I think that's the thing Seb does a lot, but I don't think it's as much as with the other rest of us. Like, we do it to some extent, but I think when you actually sit and listen to Seb's music and the lyrics he writes, they're very not about him. It's about everything going on around him, things he's been a part of, but not about him. So if he's approaching topics, it's not like from a personal place a lot of the time. Like, there'll be personal emotions and things that go into it, but it's kind of like, it's more closer to like a film, like how you view a film, how it's just a story.
That's cool.
Separate thing, rather than most music is quite personal to the artist.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I do like them. I've got unreleased shit where I get personal, and I want to, poke that stick with the whole like, I'm talking about what I'm seeing, but I need to, but I do like inserting myself in it, because I've got unreleased shit where I go into it. But like, I mean, a lot of stuff I've got out now is like, it's a weird mission, but I'm not stopping there. I'm pushing this as far as I can. Yeah.
What I kind of always say is like, I use the word I a lot. Several use the word like he, they, she a lot in his music. Like, it's almost written from a different like perspective, if you get me.
Yeah, I do feel that. Like, I haven't even really deeped it until you've just started saying that. Like, I've never really thought about it like that. But like, it is kind of like, it's like if I'm just talking about like you guys, for example,
Mm-hmm.
like your music is a look into your mind
That's so
from
cool.
your eyes, whereas Seb's music is a look into the world through Seb's eyes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's a
Such
good way
great
to.
way to put
That's
it.
a good way
Yeah.
to explain it. Like,
What a cool way to write, as if it's that third person perspective. That's really cool, actually. Yeah, I don't think I ever realized that before. Actually, what an exciting way to write.
we're all learning stuff. We're all learning stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want
This
it
is
to
it.
limit. I don't want it to limit what I do whatsoever. Like, I really want to get personal in the next couple of years, especially with like
Okay.
next projects, where it's going to be a lot more of just like talking. I want that. It's not like something I want to avoid or anything, but I love just painting pictures of just shit I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's not that you can't do it. It's just it's not your default. If that
And
makes sense.
I
Yeah.
feel like I'm quite excited to hear that too, because like, well, a lot of the time I feel like we don't really talk about like upcoming things that are happening. I mean, we do in relative time, but do you know what I mean? Like, especially me and you, we don't really talk about like what shit you're working on specifically and stuff in your mind and that.
Do you guys feel like people, or what is your opinion? Sorry, on people that will maybe put their work, so for you guys, SSR, over meeting up with friends, or like prioritizing that over a social life?
See, I think with us, it kind of doesn't apply.
Yeah,
because,
that's a really good point.
Everything we do together
Yeah.
when we're working. Like the only exceptions are like maybe
shower.
Dan like editing photos or me editing videos or something like that. But 90% of what we do, we're at events together, in the studio together, online together.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I just
so
don't think it really applies to us.
externally then, like what would be, I don't know, say if it weren't the case for you guys, and I don't know, like one of you was at a different group or whatever, like objectively, what would be your opinion on it?
Oh, what I was gonna say, I actually
Up to
do
them.
feel like I'm kind of that way because all of you boys, I mean, it's not you really, but like, because you live a little bit further away too. But I don't live in Solon. My dad lives in Solon, but I live with my mum in Littleport. So I don't come to Solon. I don't come to the studio as much as I should be. And like, I feel like in a sense, it's because I'm not as like involved with the music stuff as you guys are too. But in another way, it's like for a long time I was also putting like my life, if you know what I mean, first rather than this shit. And that's a change that I've made this year, I'd say, where I'm really trying to be more focused on not necessarily these boys, but you know what I mean, the vision, and I'm trying to be more on top of things and stuff, because like I hadn't really been too involved with it, and like I'm really trying to become more involved, and I haven't been seeing like the boys like you, for example, or Aiden, or any of my other friends as much as I have been in recent time, because I'm really trying to push this shit more, and I feel like that's where that's where it all comes together. Do you know what I mean? And it's like if you're there's a place for your social time. You've got to get a good balance of it. But if you're not, if your vision isn't your main focus, then you're not doing it right. That's kind of what I'd say. Like,
Yeah, I think I completely agree with that. I think the only thing I'd kind of add on top is like, I think from the outside, if you were like sacrificing a lot of your social life to work on it and stuff like that, it could look like a negative thing. But I think it just depends on the person. If that's what works best for them and keeps them most stable and keeps them pushing forward, I don't think it's really an issue. It's just when clearly it's having downsides on their life that they're refusing to kind of acknowledge.
Yeah,
100%. I think we have quite a nice balance.
No,
I think I do. I think I socialise enough, but I'm always making music. I'm always writing. Like even when I'm not meant to be. Like,
do you find that you sort of need that social time as well to like recharge kind of thing?
No, you need to
everyone does, man.
put all the shit away. But the trouble is that even when if I'm not doing it, I'm listening to music always, or I'm watching something.
I think a really important thing is as well, like you could sit in and make music and write all the time and spend 100% of your time doing that, but then what are you writing about? What are you making music about? You've got to go live your life and have experiences and have things to talk about, because if not, well, you just got to write about writing for like your whole career. Like you need to have experiences.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I think it's such a hard thing though to find that balance, like, because I know personally for me, right, like if I'm doing this stuff, like it's and it's probably the same for you guys, like it's what you want to do. So it's like it's really hard not to do that all the time. And it is a really hard thing to find the balance of, and sort of, I don't know, like what I find is tough is when you get to that sort of weekend of like, you could go out and see friends, or you could do the thing that you feel like is the most important thing. It's deciding, and I think that's like always a tough one to answer. I don't know, personally.
Yeah, no, I feel like I do understand what you're saying with that much more, because I think with us it doesn't affect our social life too much because what we do is so social. But I know it definitely affects like my personal life more, like eating good meals, getting good sleep, stuff like that. Because at the moment I'm in the mindset where like I know what decision I'm making every time. If it's work or look after myself, I am kind of picking the work more, which I think in the long run I'm going to have to like kind of analyze and kind of figure out more. But for now, I'm happy sacrificing the personal stuff to make this work.
Yeah.
Just to build on that before you go to another question, because I know we do like kind of like all splurge on one question for ages, but
that's cool. As it should be.
Talking about the personal life thing, like recently, I can't remember, a couple of weeks ago or something, I had a conversation with my girlfriend Roma, where I sort of I said to her like, I'm picking up more responsibilities with the Savage Street Boys now, and like I guess I'm designated photographer. I guess I'm trying to do more like videography stuff too. Going to be filming some music videos and stuff, and I'm trying to take the reins on the social media stuff a little bit more too. Like obviously Ethan, he runs the Instagram. I help out a little bit, but that's his platform. And my platform's the TikTok, but I'm not really doing a whole lot with that at the moment. And I'm trying to build content for it. But I basically said to her like this is the point where I'm going to be spending more time doing SSR stuff, and like we're not going to have as much time, and like that is just something that you're going to have to get used to. That like I'm recently, and we've been together for like a year and a half, something along those lines, and we've spent most days together doing everything together and this, that, and the other. But where I'm picking up more responsibilities, and we're doing more shows, and like I'm doing the photography thing now too, which is really where I want to progress, and like. We've been getting offers to do like photography at people's events and stuff, and like it's hard to find that balance. But like, I'm gonna have to sacrifice some of my personal life to push that, and like I'm all right with that, to be honest. Like, and she was a little bit, she wasn't really rating it too much, but she's on board now too, and she understands that we're all working to the same vision, and I'm working for us. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm working so we can be living better. Do you know what I'm saying?
I guess the silver line on that is as well, it's not like we're like, fuck Roma, come alone. Like if Roma wants to come to anything, like she's always welcome.
Exactly,
same with any friend, anyone related to any of the Savage
Females are allowed.
Like anyone is welcome through on board as long as you're chill.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to take a step back from the personal life to work on the work life a little bit more. But that's you've got to try and find that balance.
Yeah,
trying to find.
Yeah, and I think it's I always see it on like those really rubbish Instagram pages that are all about like motivation and like beating the matrix and all that sort of shit. But anyway, they always say on it that like, it's the reason that people often don't necessarily succeed is because they go for what they want now over what they want later. And in the long run, and actually, as much as it really annoys me to see it, I do think there's a bit of truth to that, and sometimes, sacrifices do kind of have to be made a little bit anyway.
100%. Oh, sorry, I was just gonna say.
No, you're cool. You're cool. Go.
When I turned up, there was like some stuff that happened or whatever, and I got a little bit of a hot head about it, and like I got a bit pissed off, and I thought, you know what, I really just want to go home and have a. And I don't want to do this right now. I'm not in the right mindset. And then I thought about like exactly what you said. That's what I want now. But when I get home and I'm going to smoke that joint and I'm going to go, why wasn't I at that interview? Why didn't I put my stuff across? Why didn't I build for the future? So there's that. Anyway, next question.
Yeah, exactly. Good little example. So do you guys, let me rephrase that. How do you guys think the music industry has changed? And with that, has that at all changed you as artists?
I think the biggest thing that the industry has changed with is like the lack of attention span in listeners nowadays. Like people don't listen to projects as much. It's all about playlisting. Songs are getting shorter. There's so many things that to do with the attention span. Like the way we promo stuff nowadays is so you have to catch people within that half a second or they're skipping through.
Yeah.
So I think that is where like we have to think a lot about that marketing wise, but I think you don't really want to bring that into the music side because you'll just start it'll start becoming a product rather than art.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
I think on the positive side of it as well, because there have been decent change in the music industry, it's so much more open nowadays. Like everyone can kind of put their foot in the door. It's a lot harder to take
True.
kind of the next 10 steps because it's such an oversaturated market. But at least no matter who you are, where you are, if you've got an internet connection, the world could see you.
Yeah, that's the blessed thing
Yeah.
is that now. I think what I love about it is that now any kind of music whatsoever, no one can ever tell you now that no one is going to like your music. You are always now going to find an audience for it.
Yeah.
But the trouble is because there's too much money on the table, it's just hard for people to get it in front of people's faces. So you kind of probably have to take it a bit extreme with your advertising and really get people to see, which is effective.
And with the attention spans thing as well, it just you have to graft that much harder and want it that much more. It is hard. It is real hard. Do you think that sort of record labels and streaming platforms are now prioritizing the marketability and profitability?
Well, they always have.
Yeah,
But now more than ever, do you think over like artistic freedom as well, like letting people do what they need to do or want to do?
I think that's only because of opportunity that they're doing it more. It's because it's easier to do that. Like streaming has come up, it wasn't kind of regulated at the start. Like kind of streaming platforms weren't paying artists. Kind of nothing was set up in the beginning, so it's just kind of snowballed a little bit. But I think eventually we might figure out the streaming sort of stuff. Artists will start getting paid more for their streams and stuff. But then the next thing's going to pop up that they're going to use for artists, whether it's AI, whether it's like whatever it's going to be, they'll find a new thing. It's just capitalism is always going to find a way to exploit it, basically.
Yeah, it's such a sad thing. It really is. It's the worst thing. It's so frustrating, and the only way to really beat it is to join it. Unless there's a mass number of you. So
and you can all burn it down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm on board with that one. Okay, so is there any upcoming projects? I know we sort of briefly spoke about it earlier, but is there any upcoming projects that are like very soon to come out that we can all look forward to? Events, music, whatever.
Yeah, 30th of November. You already had a little sneak peek, didn't you?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, new tune coming out. It's the G, Savage Streets Records. It's going to be great, and I want people to listen to it because I work hard on this and it like gives me headaches because I sit there and I think this is and the next day I'm like, no, give it a try, Seb, and carry on, and then bite your nails until you're like biting into the bit that ain't your nail anymore. Like,
just
you
the
gotta
bone.
Make it work. Yeah.
And then I think also if we've got...
Sorry.
That's all right.
It's raining.
Where's he gone?
I've got no idea. He's ran off.
That's all right. We'll continue.
What was the question? I forgot now.
Events.
Oh yeah. No, if we're going to talk about another song that's coming out, I've got Backyard, which is me and Nick R&B. We're going back to back on it. Literally just came because we found a beat when we were at mine one day. Just wrote to it, recorded a demo, and it came out good. So we're releasing it as a song.
Awesome.
And then the other things to promo are the 2 events we've got coming up that we can talk about. The first is on the 9th of December. That will be in Cambridge at the Devonshire Arms, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pro-Palestine gig to kind of raise money for medical supplies and stuff like that. And Curb Stomp, the event that you came to, that he actually turned up to that and asked us to do a set on that day. And then the other one is Beats and Rhymes, which is more our friend here. That his little hip hop show that he runs. They put on events and they've booked us for the next one. So I believe that's 27th of January.
27th.
Yeah, 27th of January. Yeah.
There are 2 events that we've got coming up. And then Curb Stomp 2 is in the works.
Awesome. There you go, guys. You've heard it here first. Make sure to be at those events. And wait, sorry, they're all in. Whereabouts will they be? That's Cambridge.
Yeah, Cambridge. All 3 of those that we mentioned are in Cambridge. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cambridge takeover.
Yeah. And if you want to catch me DJing, I'll be playing at Unique in Newmarket on December 8th. And Cortex. 27th. And the 27th of December, me and DJ Crash and MC50 Cal.
The best rave MC to exist. The best rave MC. There's no others. That's 50 Cal.
I'm definitely going to be there. I'll be at
Cortex,
that one.
London, The Cause, December 27th. Big up Clarko. It's going to be a madness.
Mental.
Everyone needs to come down to that. Everyone.
That's
But
awesome.
if you're interested in events and DJ gigs and songs, follow us on Instagram at savage_streets_records, and then you can keep up to date yourself.
And subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Which is
Bosh. You Savage Streets Records.
Yeah, boy. No underscores, just Savage Street Records.
Just Savage Streets.
TikTok. What's the TikTok? Let's just plug everything. Let's just plug it.
I think that's just Savage Streets Records, all one word. No underscore.
I'll tell you. Give me 1 second.
Yeah,
Tell you
Mr. TikTok,
exactly
man.
what TikTok
You'll
is.
find us.
Yeah.
I missed the hat memo
Savage Streets
clearly
Records,
as well.
that's it.
Wait,
Just
what is it?
Savage
What is
Streets
it?
Records. Just Savage Streets Records.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Everybody go check it out immediately right now. Pause the video. Go check it out.
Do it. Do it.
So, last and final question. Is there any questions that you wish I had asked?
Ooh, that's a great question to end an interview with.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know. You've kind of covered all bases.
I
to be
can
honest.
say one question you didn't ask that I'm thankful you didn't ask, and that's like, what are your influences? Because I think anytime you do any sort of interview, that's kind of the first question you get.
That is actually the question that I
I love
avoid the most,
Yeah.
personally, because I think it's a bit overused. And there was some that were, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any others?
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't have to be.
I think you covered most
yeah.
bases. Yeah.
All right, boys, look, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you all come on. I've enjoyed this interview very much. And I thank you for the proposition as well. We will be doing this in a year's time. So thank you all so much for coming on. And thank you all, everybody, for watching. And I will see you all in the next one.
Go on, boss man.